Hey first graders, Miss Adams again. I am so excited to draw with you today. We are going to draw a tree frog. And tree frogs, unlike the turtle, we don't really see tree frogs here in Oklahoma except maybe at the zoo. They live in the jungle, they live where it's hot and humid and muggy all the time. So I thought it'd be kind of fun though to draw them because they have super cool colors and patterns and designs, so you can really get creative today. So they're kind of funny looking. As you can see, look at this photograph of a tree frog. See how huge his eyeballs are and see how long his toes are. So he's gonna look a little funny, and that's great. Tree frogs are kind of funny looking. So we are gonna start. I suggest you have your paper, guys, up and down tall. So get your art paper, put it up and down tall, and get something to draw with now, okay? And you're gonna follow along with me. With whatever you're drawing with, we are gonna start with his eyeballs. Now, you see both of his eyeballs at once because he's facing us. And like I said, it's gonna look kind of strange, no big deal. Notice how his eyeballs aren't super close. Their eyeballs don't sit on their head like ours do. See how ours are on the front of our head and they're kind of close together? His eyeballs are like on the top of his head and it's on both sides. So it looks way different, of course, than you and I look. So we're gonna start with his eyeballs, and they're gonna be a little further apart, and they're gonna be two circles. Okay, now think about it, first graders. Of course, if I make two circles this big, he's not gonna fit. He needs big eyeballs for his head, but not huge on your paper, okay? So I'm gonna start with 1, 2 eyeballs, and see how they're not super close. There's a little space in between them. And then watch. I'm going to make on the top of this eyeball, I'm gonna double this line super, super, super skinny. Taking my time, super skinny, and touch the bottom. See how it just shows just a little bit, and it's only from the top to the bottom. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Now watch, first graders. I'm not gonna do it on the same side. I'm gonna make it on this side, so watch. Super duper skinny. I'm gonna double that line, and it's gonna go from the top to the bottom, super skinny, okay? Now his eyes, these red-eyed tree frogs, that's what the kind of tree frog that we're drawing right now, they have the pupils, the black part of their eye looks very different from ours too. They're kind of long and skinny. They're not just little circles like ours, they're long and skinny. So I'm gonna make his pupil, now watch. It's gonna be kind of on the outside of the eye. It's not gonna be right in the middle. It's gonna be sort of at the outside, and I'm just gonna make 1, 2 tall, skinny curve lines on the outside of his eye. Same thing over here. 1, 2 tall, skinny curve lines on the outside of his eye. Now I know, he looks kind of weird. They look kind of weird. They're kind of fun, cool animals, aren't they? Now we are gonna go ahead and draw the top of his head. I'm gonna start at the top of his eye again, and watch, first grade, I'm just gonna slant it into the middle. Don't touch. Same thing over here. Slant it into the middle, don't touch. And then we're gonna connect them with a curve line. So right in between, I'm just gonna make a curve line and make it touch. This is for the very top of his head. Now, there is not much space. Look how close his mouth is to his eyeballs. We have more space in between our mouths and our eyeballs. He doesn't have much space. So the next line that we're gonna make, they are gonna be very short. Look at the outside of his eye, and I'm gonna make a very short little curve line down, super short. Look at the outside of this slide, very short little curve line down, very short, okay? Then we are gonna connect it with his long mouth. Goes all the way across for his big old frog mouth. What do you think they eat? Do you think they order pizza or go to McDonald's? Nope, they use that big old mouth to catch flies and mosquitoes and all sorts of bugs. So we're gonna make a nice long mouth for him to have his fly lunch. And we're just gonna connect it. It might have a little bump to it. It might not be perfectly smooth, that's fine. No problem. Now we're gonna show 2 more short curve lines, but look, they're gonna curve in just a little ways. So I'm gonna start on the outside of his mouth, and it's gonna curve in just a little ways, not too long. same thing over here. It's gonna curve into the middle just a little ways, not too long. Then we're gonna make another line for his leg. So starting on this side, I'm gonna make a slanted line that comes out, a short slanted straight line that comes out. This is for the top part. So I'm gonna start here on this side and I'm gonna slant it out for however long you want this top part of his leg to be. And they are not big muscle men. They don't have big, huge muscles. Their legs are skinny, skinny. So very skinny, skinny, close to what I just made. I'm just gonna double it. That's all you need to do. And then we're gonna slant it in the other way. So watch. The line that I just made, I'm gonna slant it in this way. And then I'm gonna swing this around and it's gonna slant in that way. Just doubling it. Now, what's so cool about tree frogs is they are kind of like Spider-Man. They can crawl right up a flat wall if they want to. They have these really long fingers and each finger has, well, of course, they're probably not called fingers, but each toe has a sticky pad on the end. And that sticky pad has sort of a gluey substance that helps them stick to whatever they're crawling on. They can even sleep on the underside of a leaf. They can sleep with their toes sticking up on the leaf so that they're hidden from the birds that might want to eat them. So we're gonna go ahead and show his toes sticking out with those sticky pads. Look at this line, this top line. And all I'm gonna do is make a slanted line out for his long toe. Down here, I'm gonna make a slanted line out for that long toe. Okay, so we've got this wide area to add our toes in between. Now look, go back to that first one. Very skinny next to it. I'm gonna double it. Look how skinny it is. Keep it really skinny. And I'm gonna add a circle on the end for that sticky pad. Now, we're not gonna touch. Very close to this one, very skinny next to it. I'm gonna double it, but look, it's not touching. I'm gonna leave a little space in between. See how it doesn't touch? And then I'm gonna add that sticky pad. Now we're gonna make it touch. And I'm gonna add another line for his toe. Very skinny close next to it. Double it. And add that sticky pad. And then look, you have space right here since we didn't touch. You have space right there for the last toe. So I'm gonna make another toe out and skinny, skinny next to it, double it, and add that sticky pad. Okay, so we've got one arm. Now we're gonna add the other one. Go back up to his eye on this side and go look at his mouth and then look where we stopped this line. Here, we're gonna make just a little curved line that comes down. Now watch, it's gonna curve just a little bit down and out. And that is where we know we're gonna start our next foot. So I'm gonna make a slanted line. See this slanted line for this first toe? It's gonna slant and it's gonna be, just kind of guess however long. If you've got really long toes here, I wouldn't make a teeny weeny short toe here. Make it just about as long as the other ones. It's just gonna slant a little bit past. And then watch, it's gonna curve over and out. So I'm gonna curve it over and out for his other foot. We are gonna do the same thing. Starting with this first toe, skinny, skinny next to it, don't touch. I'm just gonna make the first toe. See how it's not touching anything, it just kind of stops. We're gonna add that sticky pad. On this side, we're gonna jump over, skinny, skinny, skinny next to it, not touching anything. We're just gonna make it double. And we're gonna add that sticky pad. And then this time we're gonna make it touch. We're gonna start right here, make it down. Skinny, skinny, look, it's not touching anything. It's hanging out by itself. We're gonna make a straight line that comes down, not touching anything. Make a sticky pad. And now, this time we're gonna make it touch. We're gonna make it touch this line and this line. And add that sticky pad. You guys are frog toe experts now. Okay, before we draw the rest of the frog, we're actually gonna make the branch that he's hiding behind, and then we're gonna add the rest sort of what you see behind the branch, okay? So this is kind of different. We're gonna draw the branch first, then we're gonna finish the frog. Now we know where the branch is because his toes are on the branch. So I'm gonna look at about the top of this hand right here, and I'm just gonna make a slanted straight line all the way off my paper, all the way off my paper. Then, watch first grade, we're not gonna draw right through what we've already drawn. We're gonna stop, jump over the foot, make it touch the other foot, or it might touch down here, it might touch up here. Wherever it touches is fine, just don't draw right over what you've already done. So I've got my line stop, jump over, and again, stop, jump over, all the way off, slanted, all the way off my paper. Don't just let it stop. You want to show that it's nice and long tree branch so it goes all the way off. And then we're going to make it not super skinny. Look, we want the tree branch lower than where his toes are. We don't want it super skinny because then his body, you don't see the rest of his body and people are like, where did that body go? You want to make it nice and thick. So thick down here. I'm just gonna make it all the way off my paper. Okay, so now we can see a little bit of his belly. We can see a little bit of his belly. So starting about right here where our armpit would be, that's where it would start. We're just gonna show a little bit of a curve line that comes down and touches. And then for his leg, his long frog leg, we're gonna show that just kind of sticking out. So about, a little ways up from where his toes are, just a little ways over. I'm gonna go ahead and make a curve line that comes over this way, back in and touch the branch. And then you see just a little straight line right down the middle. It doesn't go all the way across. It comes just a little bit in for the bend of his leg, for where his leg is all bent, okay? Now, first grade, you guys can add whatever designs and patterns and colors that you want for your tree frog. Maybe you want like some stripes on his belly. A lot of tree frogs have stripes. Maybe you want some spots. They have lots of spots that helps with camouflage in the jungles. You could add some stripes on his arms or on his toes or whatever you want. Now, we talked about this a little bit last year, but remember, you will not see a tree frog in real life with what's called symbols. Remember that word? Symbols are what people draw. So you won't see a tree frog in real life with hearts. You won't see a tree frog in real life with stars. Remember, because that's what people draw. So if you want a realistic tree frog, don't draw the symbols. You're gonna draw more patterns and details that think about what you might see in real life, okay? So, something else you might wanna think about, we're gonna start to add more background to our drawings. So, he's in the jungle, of course. Let's practice drawing some leaves. You could add a bazillion leaves if you want to, or flowers or vines. But I definitely want you to at least add leaves this week. So we're gonna start with some curved lines for the middle of the leaf. And then starting on the end, I'm gonna curve it back in and touch. Curve it back in and touch. And you could even add the detail of some veins in your leaf. You can add as many leaves as you want. You could add flowers. So you could add a leaf hanging down, a leaf going up to show these right in the middle of that tree. And most of you don't even need my help drawing leaves. You can draw leaves all on your own. I'm just gonna rush through here and show you some details. Then for the coloring, I want you guys to think about coloring. If you have designs and patterns on your frog, even if you color super duper solid, I don't wanna see just one color on your frog. I wanna see your designs have different colors than the area around the design. So for example, if I'm gonna do spots, I wanna make my spots a different color and the area around my spots a different color. Because see guys, that just makes your pattern and your detail and your design really stand out. You don't wanna take all this time to add this cool design work and then just color it one solid color. So you wanna take your time and make sure that the designs are different colors, okay? And just whatever you have is fine. Some of you, I've seen some painting going on, awesome. Some of you have had markers or color pencils. Great, just use what you have, but I know everybody should have some crayons at least, okay? So take your time, and friends, remember, if you need an adult to help you, that's fine, but you must take a picture of your artwork and attach it. I'm giving you guys a grade for art, so I have to see what you've done, or else I won't know what grade to give you. So you must take a picture of your artwork every time and send it to Mrs. Adams on your attachment, okay? And if you need help with that, have mom or dad email and we'll help you out, okay? So, awesome job. I know he was kind of funny looking, kind of a fun little animal to draw, something different. I am so proud of you guys for sticking with it. Take your time to color, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Love you all. Bye, Warriors.